Public CEO Report is a podcast that provides insights about the public sector and public policy for the benefit of decision makers and leaders powering our communities. I'm your host, Ryder Todd Smith, and today we're joined by John Nix, the City of Indio's Assistant City Manager. Jonathan, welcome to the Public CEO Report.
Hey, Ryder, glad to be here. Longtime fan, first time interview. So I think I've known Ryder for, maybe 15, 16 years now. So glad to reconnect in this way.
Yes, John, you and I first met. You were working in the city of Placentia,
Yeah,
and I think you were in public works there.
public works, community services, whatever else the city of Placentia needed at that time, so
Yeah,
lots
so
of experiences there.
yeah, I think so. That puts me like 2009, 2010, I believe, when I
All
first did a
right.
little bit of work in the city. So that's like, yeah, we're 15, almost 16 years, my friend. So it's good to see you. We've crossed paths a few times and done some work together before. And you got a great career in local government, which is what I want to open with. So
Sure.
who is John Nix? Where you work, John? What's your background, and what do you and lead up to where you are today?
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Ryder. And I just want to note for the public CEO audience here that Ryder and I don't age. We look exactly the same as
That's
15 years ago.
100%.
So,
100%.
yeah, I've been in local government for about 25 years. Got my start way back with the city of Norwalk, where I grew up. Was there for a few years, traveled around, worked for the county of Orange a couple times. As Ryder mentioned, worked in the city of Placentia for about 8 years. From there, moved out here to the Inland Empire, Riverside County. It was before I got here to Indio. I was working for City of Menifee for about 7 years. Rose up the ranks there, community services, public works. Left there as deputy city manager. Then just last year, came over here to Indio as the assistant city manager. So a lot of great things happening here in Indio that I'll go over in a few minutes. Along the way, also got my master's degree in public administration from Cal State Strong Beach. So any Cal State Long Beach folks out there, alumni, hello to all of you.
I am foreshadowing. I anticipate that we are trying to do an interview with a fellow named Adam Butts, who is from Cal State Long Beach. I'm not sure if you know that name.
Sounds familiar. Maybe that's a little foreshadowing right there.
Yes. So he'll be coming up on a future podcast. So well, the Long Beach team runs strong. We appreciate their alumni. I've met many of them over the years of our work. So, but I appreciate you joining us for the podcast today. And that bit of background, you're on a trajectory careening towards city manager someday, I assume, somewhere out there in the local government world of California, if not beyond. But you are now landed in the beautiful city of Indio. And tell me a little bit about Indio. Where's Indio located? What's going on in Indio?
Fantastic. So Indio's in Southern California, Riverside County, actually, and very specifically, a lot of people don't understand how big California is, how big Southern California is. And then even Riverside County itself is the size of like New Jersey, right? So we have a kind of a more localized area out here called the Coachella Valley. So people might recognize the name Coachella for the Coachella Arts and Music Festival, which is actually not in Coachella. It's actually hosted here in Indio at our Empire Polo Grounds. So we host the Coachella Festival in April, followed right by Stagecoach at the same polo grounds. We do all the emergency management work with Golden Voice, who puts on the music festival, all that kind of stuff. So that's what we're known for. We're the oldest city in this Coachella Valley area that extends from Coachella, Indio, all the way west to Palm Springs, our 9 cities over here. We're the largest, oldest city. We just celebrated our 95th anniversary. We have a strategic plan that I'll get more into, where we're working on our 5 years to get to Indio 100, our century mark. So we're known as that city of festivals for those two very large festivals, but we also have the Riverside County Date Festival, Indio International Tamale Festival, which was just a couple weeks ago. So if I seem a little pudgier than usual, it's because I ate probably 4 dozen tamales. And we have so many more things going on here, local events and a lot of gatherings. We have Major League Soccer that's coming, MLS. In February, they're doing their preseason here. So we're building that. They started with 6 teams, they're up to 20 teams. We have lacrosse, a lot of tournaments. So a lot of festivals, a lot of sports, a lot of entertainment, family-friendly community, a great place to live and grow and do different things.
Clearly are a good ambassador for the city.
I try.
What's the population?
We're getting very close to 100,000. We're about like 95, 96,000 right now. So a lot of new housing coming in. We got 4,000 units approved for construction or under construction already. So we're going to pass that 100,000 mark fairly soon.
And you're not built out. You have more land to develop.
Oh, we got plenty of land here, so come on down. If any developers are watching this Public CEO podcast, we're welcoming new businesses. I'll get into that a little bit later as well. We're actually looking at it, maybe expanding the city a little bit. We have our sphere of influence that extends eastward. We're doing a study on that. You know, can we create an employment corridor so that there's plenty of more opportunities for growth in Indio?
Awesome. Okay. Well, I hear the enthusiasm in your voice. So let me ask that question. Why do you like working in Indio? It seems like you're pretty jazzed up about the place.
Yeah, definitely. As mentioned, you know, I've worked for 4 different cities. I've worked for the County of Orange. And when I heard about this opportunity, you know, there's a lot of great stuff going on in Menifee, a lot of great growth there. And I'm like, well, Indio. I'm like, wow, what's going on over there? And I really found a community that had a clear mission, goals, and identity. That's one thing that a lot of cities that I work for, when I'm talking to my colleagues, you know, they're like, oh man, you know, well, what is our city like known for? What are we going to do? And you know, Indio's like, no, we're the city of festivals. We got this world-renowned Coachella. It doubles the size of our population for about 6 weeks, and we expand upon that. We do that. Even Team Indio, our police department, our water authority, all the people here at City Hall, we have Indio shirts, right? And our slogan for internally is like, "Hey, our employees take center stage." So we really, you know, jump on that, you know, music venue, that performing part of it. And our team shirts on the back say hard act to follow. And
Hmm.
so I should have wore one of those today and just kind of instead of this, you know, dress shirt. But so we really embrace that. So we have that identity. It's a united team, you know, from our city council to our staff, all the different departments I mentioned. The community members are really, you know, prideful of Indio and what it is and how long we've been here and what we're doing, and all the local businesses and a lot of like kind of those family owned folks that were, you know, grew up here in Indio and started their own business. That is really what's populating our downtown.
Hmm. Great. Well, let's talk about that a little bit.
Sure.
You guys have adopted a strategic plan that goes 2025 2030. That strategic plan itself outlines like downtown development as a core focus area. What are the elements of this downtown revitalization program that are prioritizing over the next 5 years, and why were those areas chosen?
Yeah, as I mentioned, it's really that identity of Indio. A lot of folks, and you hear this all the time, Ryder, when you go into conferences and talking about economic development, is that placemaking. You know, people don't want to just see the regular shopping center anymore. They want to go somewhere, destination. And so that's that downtown development. One strategic plan area that we focused on is downtown, and we call it downtown destination. And so we have a lot of events downtown. We created a new center stage in the downtown. So we actually took some area, which was an old hotel, renovated it, and created a stage there. And actually, we premiered this stage on the biggest stage on American Idol in 2024. The winner of American Idol was Abby Carter, who is from Indio. So again, that performing arts factor of Indio is running through every single person here. And so when she did her hometown debut, and she was in the quarterfinals, she was right here going down Miles Avenue in downtown Indio. And I wasn't quite here at the time. I came a few months later. I really regret missing it, but the team had to scramble and get the stage built and ready and operable to be on national television. And it was a hit having that. And we really looked at it as a concept, even before the strategic plan, to have this downtown living room concept, having a welcoming area for the community and visitors to come and say, okay, wait, hey, downtown, oh, and have this pulse of an event, a concert, a movie, that kind of thing. We've had some very successful barbecue festivals, Carne Asada Festival in downtown, where we're drawing 9,000 folks coming down here and just looking at the curated businesses that can surround that. We have a Gambino's Creperie. Now, most people think of crepes and they think of breakfast. Crepes are not just for breakfast. These Gambino's is open for lunch. We have like chicken crepes, different things like that. We have the Tap House right next to center stage. It's a nice bar and grill. It has this roll-up doors that opens right to Miles Avenue. People just walk in and have that synergy. We have a Yellow Mart, which is a long-standing business there. Before Walmart, there was Yellow Mart here in India, where you could buy pretty much anything you need. We have a lot of great shops coming in here. We have this new concept called the Dune Room that is coming on the east side of Miles Avenue, where we're going to have different performers coming through. And I can't say too much about that. There might be some 90s rock bands that I'm very excited about that might be performing at the Dune Room pretty soon. More to come. But so that was the concept behind this downtown revitalization. It's not going to be the same businesses, the same chain restaurants. It's going to be unique concepts. It's going to be the destination. It's going to be around this performing arts type of concept that Indio embraces.
Well, you're certainly leaning into the brand of this city, given the music festival that's there and being a festival oriented community. So it's a convenient thing to play up, right? As opposed to some other identity that you otherwise might have as a community. I suppose part of that is your residents have to be open and willing to suffer through some of the traffic and complexities that come with that for the economic benefits and restaurant opportunities that come with that. I've worked in some coastal towns where folks are very frustrated by the traffic that's generated by tourism, but on the other hand, if they didn't have the tourism, they wouldn't have any of the local restaurants or local entertainment experiences they otherwise get to have, and it'd be a ghost town. So you gotta balance the yin and yang with that. I'm curious, as you guys put together your strategic plan, I had read a little bit about some of the pillars around economic opportunity and community well-being, but how does that apply? How does the strategic plan kind of align with those principles when at the same time, you're investing in a downtown, but you want to serve the entire city, right? So how does that downtown investment actually benefit the whole community and align with those two values?
Definitely, the community investment, part of the community investment as a whole is having those things, having those events, having those things that people can participate in. And downtown's kind of like a hub and a pulse. And we hope that, that spreads throughout the entire community. Indio is quite large, about 33 square miles. So we're trying to get and duplicate that, that synergy that's in downtown, have it in different parts of the community, whether it's along Highway 111, which runs here from Indio all the way through Palm Springs, or down to Indio Boulevard to the north end of Indio. And so we're using this downtown model and hoping to spread it to different areas of the city. And having that community well-being of the gatherings that I just mentioned earlier, and having that kind of sense of space, sense of self. And when you have those positive activities, that also enhances our public safety component with our police department and fire department. People are gathering for positive reasons, and it really overshadows some of those other activities that could go on in the city.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're making this huge investment, or creating opportunity for huge investment by others, frankly, to come in and make those investments too. How do you know or identify if you're having success? Like, have you identified key performance indicators or something along those lines? That's always one of my kind of sticking points on some strategic plans, is trying to come up with some ways to know if we're actually making progress on the strategic plan that's been adopted. So what are you guys doing on that front?
Yeah, definitely. And just maybe a footnote, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, the strategic plan was just adopted by City Council in July. So what we're doing is on a kind of biannual basis, when we bring back the mid-year budget and the annual budget, we're going to provide that community and City Council update about how much have we done. So within our strategic plan, we have those pillars, we have those areas, but then we also have objectives and goals and those KPIs. Like, for example, on the downtown that you mentioned, we're measuring visitors. We've actually measured that from 23 to 24, 2023 to 2024. One probably big boom and boost of that was being on American Idol, but we had 160,000 additional visitors year over year. So we're looking at those exact numbers of, are we, by building these things and having these things and having these new businesses, are people actually coming to the downtown, and it's working? And when we talk about investment, we do have the private investment, those folks that are these new businesses that are unique, but we also have a lot of civic investment as well. I'm sitting in our brand new city hall, and Ryder, if you want to come and take your city hall selfie, come on down.
Music to my ears. I got to make it there,
my friend, and we'll give you a full tour. I might even buy you a lunch. We'll see. Or maybe some coffee at one of our new coffee places. We have Everbloom, Segura, just to drop a few names there. But there's also that civic investment. We've invested about $50 million in a new city hall, a new downtown library, the College of the Desert, which is the community college out here, right across the street. Literally, I could throw a football at it. They built a new Indio campus as well. They invested over $100 million in that campus, offering a lot of very good trades that are needed. Paramedic classes, I see them outside actually every day training firefighter paramedics. In our fire department, which is Cal Fire, is actually teaching those classes. They do a lot of criminal justice classes. Our chief of police teaches a class over there. Our city manager teaches a class over there on civics. So there's a really good continuity between all of us, and creating actual jobs that people can attain and have a career, whether it be a career here with the city of Indio government or the county government or fire department, things like that. So there's not only the private investment of those businesses, but there's a lot of civic investment from the college, from the city of Indio itself to really revitalize and create that hub here in the downtown. And again, to spread that throughout the entire community.
Any other KPIs you guys are tracking on or reporting back on?
Yeah, we're looking at, not only that foot traffic, we're looking at the revenue generated through sales tax. We're looking at, how many students are at the College of the Desert, how many more folks are, going to the library down here, how many more folks are coming into City Hall to do business. So we're tracking a lot of different metrics and reporting that back to City Council very soon.
And then a very esoteric question. If you don't have the answer to this, I totally respect it. But at the risk of putting you in a bind on it, how do you measure visitors? Are you guys using cell phone data aggregated from private data providers, or is it a sampling head count? Like, how does that actually get measured? Or
Yeah,
credit card data?
No, yeah, a combination actually of like cell phone pings. So we're looking at that because you can get a lot of those unique visitors and duplicated visitor counts, kind of separate those things. We do have the ability to measure like credit card transactions as well. So that's how we're getting that data aggregated.
Interesting.
Aggregated. So.
Yeah. That's super interesting. And then do you find is there pretty good synergy between the tourism market out there and then the long-term residents or permanent residents? I mean, a lot of those desert communities, they only have part-time residents because it gets so hot in the summer. People pick up and leave. I mean, we work in several communities out there as it is, and sometimes half the residents are gone from June through September. Is that similar in Indio, or is it more of a permanent resident arrangement out there?
I think a higher percentage of our residents are like me. They live out here permanently, have a family. We do have some senior communities where we have like Canadians and folks from more cooler weather that like to come here right now, where it's fantastic. It's like 79 degrees outside, sun's shining. So other places are probably in a blizzard. And so we do have some of those snowbirds coming, but we're actually seeing and tracking where during the summers, things would like kind of maybe slow down a little bit. And we're actually not seeing that. We're seeing a lot of the same patterns of more of those permanent residents. And you also touched upon this a little bit earlier about, the impact of having these festivals. And a lot of folks have embraced that. We actually have one of the highest marketed places. We got ranked number 6, I think, nationwide from Airbnb for those short-term rentals. So there's a little bit of a lack and need for more hotel spaces out here. So if there any hotel developers listening to PublicCEO, please give me a call. We have some space for you. But it created an opportunity for folks to even utilize their own homes and have a little bit of a revenue opportunity to do short-term rentals for all the festival goers as well. So I think people have adapted well, where it's created this extra transit occupancy tax for the city, but created a little extra, part-time business for some folks. If they don't want to deal with the festival, as you mentioned, they could rent out their house for those weekends and get out of town, visit some family, and come back. So, and so we provide those opportunities for the locals as well.
Yeah, we could probably do a whole other conversation about short-term rental policy and how that works out in Indio and other cities. It'd actually be a fun panel conversation for PublicCEO someday. But I could definitely see. I just having heard the stories of what some houses rent for at Coachella weekend, people can make a lot of money over a couple of days doing pretty well.
Yeah.
And assuming the house doesn't get trashed, it's a total win.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's go back to downtown development, right? That downtown development requires private developers come in. There's a lot of money that gets injected. Sometimes that big money injection can create tension with local small business owners or long-term tenants that are maybe seeing their rents go up or seeing some of that economic spread create some tension. How are you balancing between local small business owners and local owners versus long-time residents and some of the energy that may come from that kind of relationship?
Yeah, definitely. I mentioned like the Yellow Mart before the Walmart. Yeah, that's been here for a long time. So we definitely don't forget the history of Indio. Again, mentioned 95 years here. We have the Shields Date Garden. If you've never had a date shake, please go to Shields Date Garden. They actually just celebrated their 100-year anniversary. They're off of Highway 111, not quite in the downtown. But for all those existing businesses, we do offer a beautification program. So we don't forget about them. So if they want to spruce up their outside and they've been in business here, say they've been here for 0 to 20 years, we offer them $50,000. If they've been here longer, like the Yellow Marts, the K&R car washes, or the Shields, and they want to take advantage of that. If they've been here for 20 years or longer, we offer them up to $100,000 as a business incentive to do that beautification. So we offer those incentives to those folks that have been here, that have kind of created the foundation for Indio that we can build upon and do now. So we're definitely engaged with our longtime business owners as well.
So it sounds like you're trying to make sure that a rising tide of economic development is lifting up all the boats, not just the new kids that have arrived, but taking care of those that have been around for decades and decades in the community.
Absolutely. And that's a balance, because there's a lot of new, fresh things going on here in Indio. But again, we also want to respect our heritage and how the Indio came up. It started way back as, just a train stop, and kind of built from there. And so a lot of folks are really proud of the history of Indio, and we want to honor that.
Mm-hmm. I guess a related question. So you're doing all this great work. People want to move out there, and I experience it. How are you integrating residential growth, particularly in your downtown area, and revitalization? And how's that just fitting into your broader housing mix? Because, in my experience, it's nice if you can actually build residential units proximate to all this great entertainment venues, so people can just walk there and they don't have to take an Uber or drive down and park. What's that looking like?
Yeah, we actually have two apartment complexes that are under construction right now in the downtown. We have Skyline and Blue Sapphire. That's 100 apartment units right here in the downtown that are under construction, hopefully completed by 2026 in that calendar year. We actually have affordable housing units that were built off of Jefferson. There's the Royal Crossing, that's over 400 units that just opened up in early 2025. So we have a mix of housing. We just even approved 1,500 homes with Pulte called the Desert Retreat. Those are senior homes on the northern end of town. So we do have that mix of, the senior homes, the apartments, the affordable, a lot of single family housing on the north end of Indio. And again, as I think I mentioned earlier, we have about 20,000 residential units that are in our slate, but 4,000 of those, a quarter of those, are already entitled or in construction already. So we're having that mix of housing, making sure we have housing that's affordable for different folks in different stages of their lives.
Are you, and what was that 20,000 housing units are on your slate, meaning that was part of your RENA allocation, or that's just what you've designed into your long-term general plan?
That's within our general plan, and those
Okay.
are actual plan submissions and reviews that are going through right now.
Oh, so there's 20,000 in the pipeline.
Yes.
Oh, geez, that's a lot of housing.
Yeah.
Wow. What about going vertical? Is there energy to go vertical in the downtown area, and is that accommodated?
Oh, absolutely. The Sapphire apartments that I mentioned, the Skyline's named Skyline for a reason. It's actually 3 stories, and they actually have a really cool rooftop concept there for a recreational area.
Okay. So going vertical is part of the mix. Mixed use, I assume, is part of the plan too. You'd love to see more of that development.
Oh, definitely. And we're actually talking to some developers about maybe even a hotel concept down here that has that mixed use, the first floor commercial, maybe not a coffee shop. We have quite a few of those already that I mentioned, maybe some other kind of retail, quick bite eatery, that kind of thing.
Boba. You got to get boba.
Oh,
Everybody's doing boba.
yeah.
All right. So given Sydney's vision around culture, arts, and entertainment growth for the downtown, how are you dealing with infrastructure and public space design to support that vision? Like how are you working with architects, or what's the strategy behind that?
I'm going to plug something here. So you see this guy right here on our Momentum magazine? This
Yes.
robot, it's actually right outside my window. It is you can't tell from the magazine, but it's about 50 feet high. This is, and there's 2 of them. We call them the Messengers. So they were featured at the 2022 Coachella Arts and Music Festival. We bought them. We moved them here to downtown. So I was during my MMAC presentation just last month. I had quite a few people in there, about 100. I was talking to all those local government professionals. I'm like, hey, do you guys have a public arts program? And they're like, oh, yeah, we do. I'm like, oh, well, that's nice. But do you have 2 50-foot robots in your downtown? And so
I've not seen a lot of robots. The best comment I can make is I have seen a beautiful spider mounted to the side of a city parking lot in Morgan Hill. It's quite a piece of art. It's very nice. That's my best kind of most memorable piece of public art I could think of right now.
And so that's our most recent feature, but we do have a very robust arts program. We have an arts commission. We have a lot of murals throughout the town that we commission artists for. So our arts commission gets submissions for that. We're working on a 9/11 memorial. We just did a groundbreaking for that last September. So art is part of Indio, not just the performing arts, but the physical arts, the painting, the sculptures. We had premiered earlier this year. We have a desert tortoise, which when someone told me about this desert tortoise is at our Jackson Park, I was picturing something maybe like, I don't know, 3 feet high. This thing is 14 feet high. It's like 30 feet long. It's made of recycled glass. Actually, it's recycled alcohol bottles, and it transformed into this large tortoise that kids could try and climb on. I certainly can't without slipping off. So we really are integrating art and into our public infrastructure and having that dispersed throughout the city.
Okay. Wow. Well, I think I just need to come to India alone just to see the art. I need to see the giant tortoise.
Come on down. I'll find some boba for you.
Yeah, I'm assuming there's appropriate signage to tell people that it's their own risk if they try to climb on the tortoise.
Hey, good note. Let me get on that right now.
Get your risk manager on that, would you?
Yeah, I will.
It's giving me the heebie-jeebies. My JPIA training is starting to come out. Okay, so you have all these amazing plans. Things are clearly going well. You're doing art. You got lots of hope. It takes tremendous amounts of resources to make this happen. And obviously you have to have a private market that wants to participate too. Like you're not just doing this all on your own. What are I mean, sometimes you can plan and God laughs. What's your backup plan or contingencies if you can't, it doesn't all come to fruition?
Yeah, Indio, like a lot of Southern California cities, way back in 2016, did a sales tax measure. Here it's called Measure X. So it's a 1% sales tax, 1 cent sales tax. And what Indio did that was very unique from other cities is they dedicated it only for infrastructure. So we're not using it for operations. We're not using it for maintenance or public safety or paying for, fire services or police services. We're using it for infrastructure. So right now that's bringing in about 18 million per year. And we're leveraging that. We've been doing a lot of lease revenue bonds. And so we're using that bonding structure to build, the city hall, to build the library. We just finished 3 buildings of our public safety campus. We did a dispatch center, public services building, and a new fire station. And I'm working right now with our police chief on the final piece of the campus, which is our police headquarters building. And we just did a bond issuance of $30 million so we could do that project as well. We're actually going to go out to bid first quarter of next year and start construction by mid 2026. So it's really looking at that dedicated resource, definitely thank the community and the public for supporting the city and that, but then also using that sales tax and then measuring it with the power of bonding as well. So we can do projects now and pay for them over time. One thing that, I like to say is that, that interest on the bonds always beats the inflationary factor of the cost of construction over time.
Yep.
So even though, you're taking essentially a loan to pay for these things, it's cheaper to do it now than to maybe wait and save, and then having that inflationary factor of extra labor costs and material costs and all that kind of stuff. So I think Indio has done that in a very smart way. And that's how I'm able to sit in the city hall I am today. And I have some visitors at the library right now, and having some of our firefighters in a new fire station, and our police department team in some new facilities as well.
Yeah, it's a very fair point, right? I mean, it depends on where the market's at on muni bond rates, but just given what's been the accelerator for cost of construction, it has far exceeded the interest expenses on muni bonds, or at least it feels that way. I don't know. I'm not a macroeconomist, but that's my general observation is cost of construction has gone up pretty substantially for any number of reasons. The consequence of which is the faster you move on building stuff, the sooner you can beat inflation, and you end up financing it much cheaper than the cost of inflation and waiting. So getting on with the programs is really critical. It's been very fortunate your community was willing to invest in itself and trust the city to have that tax measure and support those kinds of investments, so you guys can be nimble and make those decisions, and ultimately probably save the community a lot of money by doing it at the right time and timing it with the right market rates for muni bonds and whatnot.
Exactly it.
Yeah. All right. So, you got this amazing plan. Things are coming together. 50-foot robots are looming over City Hall.
Yeah.
You're 10 years out. What does success look like, right? How has the economy, quality of life, or community identity changed? What does that look like? How do you know it's been worked?
Yeah, definitely. We've had a lot of great success here in Indio, which I featured throughout this conversation. But we're not done yet. There's a lot of opportunity, as you mentioned. We got a lot of land available, whether it be a combination of housing. Definitely, one issue that's prevalent throughout Riverside County, but maybe a little more out here in Indio, Coachella Valley, is are there enough jobs for people? Is there enough employment opportunities? And we have retail stores, things like that, hospitals, hospitality. But are there career jobs for folks? And so again, that's the key with us partnering with College of the Desert to get people trained. But then we also want to work with private businesses and things to create those job opportunities local. And you probably hear this from a lot of other cities. I think the last time we measured, it was like something around like 70% of our folks are commuting out of town for
Hmm.
employment. So we would like to keep them local so they have more time at home, more time with family, but then also more time to enjoy the city. Enjoy coming to these festivals, enjoy all the new businesses, keep your sales tax dollars local, buy your gas here, eat your dinner here, that kind of thing. And so there's a good synergy by having folks here, but that's going to be our next part of the journey over the next 5 to 10 years. This strategic plan that's getting to the 100-year mark for India is creating those employment opportunities to balance out all the other great things that are going on.
Yeah, it's an interesting leap to make around those types of jobs, especially when so much of your economy is focused on the entertainment space, which has a lot of seasonality to it and a lot
Yeah.
of kind of hospitality oriented jobs. Not that there's
Yeah.
anything wrong with hospitality jobs, but some of those jobs I'm assuming you're describing are more like manufacturing jobs or white collar kind of engineering and higher education oriented jobs and things like that. And making that leap takes some coaxing, takes good private market participation, some good opportunities.
Yeah, definitely. That was actually my first call this morning at 8:30, working with a developer. They have a great space here, about 200 acres, where they're actually looking at that kind of industrial development for that kind of opportunity, right off the I-10 freeway, which
Yeah.
runs right through Indio. So we're working in on kind of all the different angles to see if we can create those opportunities. I think I mentioned also earlier we have this sphere of influence where we can possibly annex up to another 1,300 acres into the city and create that employment corridor in that area
Wow.
away from the residential area. So we're
Wow.
we're looking at kind of that longer journey. That LAFCO process, the sphere of influence process, annexing into the city does take quite a bit of time, but starting it now. So when we get 5, 10 years out, we have that land available and those opportunities available to entice those type of businesses to offer those kind of jobs.
Hmm. Wow. Big plans, very big plans. So you've made all these big plans. You've had success out there, certainly, and a lot of momentum. Any aspects of the plan that are like a blueprint you think other California cities should consider when they're revitalizing their downtowns or trying to boost their local economies?
Yeah, I was talking to our economic development team about that, and I think a unique aspect of our downtown again is the local entrepreneur. The Gambino's Creperie. That gentleman. I graduated from Indio High School. Started here. We have a couple other local businesses, and there are folks that are local here, if not to Indio, to the Coachella Valley, that wanted to start their own business, branch out from maybe a larger business that they're working on, start their own restaurant, a Mitiera Bakery, for example, right on Oasis. And so really, I think other cities maybe need to look into that, invest into that. One advantage that our city has is a lot of the businesses are being developed on city-owned property. So we own the property, we own the storefront, and we do incentivize folks with tenant improvements, with maybe lower entry level rates. And then as they become more successful, we kind of get ramp them up to a market rate. So we have a few kind of strategic things that maybe other cities don't have. But I would encourage other cities to, come on out, visit us, see what we're doing, take a walk with our economic development team and myself, and look at these things, talk to these people that are starting these businesses so they can maybe duplicate some of these efforts in their own communities.
Mhm. Interesting. How did the city come to own all these storefronts? Was this a legacy redevelopment agency or something else?
Yeah, hit it on the head, Ryder. You're so smart. Yeah, so the downtown had a turnover several years ago, and there's a lot of opportunity in the redevelopment times to purchase these properties. So the forefathers of Indio before me were very wise in doing that, and we've been able to capitalize on it.
Okay, very interesting. Very interesting. And is that also some of that property? Are you selling that property off for some of these development efforts that are coming in too, or using that property to incentivize like the low income housing units that you referenced?
Yeah, definitely a combination of that. Actually, part of the market rate housing, the apartments that I mentioned earlier in downtown was city property that we sold to them so they could build the apartments at a lower cost with some incentives. So
Interesting.
some of it's that we're keeping and we're leasing out to new entrepreneurs. Some of it we're selling at less than market cost to entice investment and development.
It's a tremendously powerful thing to have control over land in your downtown area to
Yeah.
help really set a direction and a long-term vision to bring people along. And of course, that also creates the onus on the city to do it in a free market oriented, friendly way to make it happen. Because otherwise it'll just sit idle and not get used. And then that's a problem, right? That becomes blight, which is the opposite of what redevelopment was ever supposed to make happen. So that's a powerful position to be in. But as we know, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, of course.
John, this is a fantastic conversation. Clearly, your love and enthusiasm for Indio is shining through here. How can people contact you if they want to learn more about your strategic plans or your investments going on downtown, or how to get free Coachella tickets?
Oh, geez. So everything except the last thing. We have a newsletter. Everyone can sign up at indio.org. Other professionals out there watching this, feel free to email me, jnicks, JNICKS at indio.org. So really love connecting with folks. I'm on LinkedIn. The City of Indio is on LinkedIn. Feel free to connect with me, send me messages. I love meeting new folks, getting ideas. Although we're doing a lot of great stuff here in Indio, I love talking to other folks, seeing what they're doing and see if we can duplicate some of their efforts, get the best of the best for our city. So Ryder, thank you again for having me on here. My longtime friend, road dog here through government trials and tribulations. So I appreciate being on here and you taking your time.
Thanks. And that's today's report. My thanks to John for joining us. For the whole PublicCEO team, myself, Ryder, Todd Smith, thank you for your time. We hope you learned something new and inspiring that will help you in your public service. Remember, PublicCEO has a daily newsletter that is free to those who sign up at PublicCEO.com. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of the PublicCEO Report. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing across all of our platforms so you never miss out on this great content. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and Amazon Music.